Haven't forgot. Just give me a second. Let me get the game I'm playing up. Also, this is going to very much be a test run, since if you don't know, this is the first stream I'll be doing with my overlay. $11.40 looks good. So this is another Metroid 2. It's one of the 2 fan remakes of Metroid 2 that was. It was a fan remake of Metroid 2. That was made, but but the funny thing is that for whatever reason, in a lot of the other remakes that did not happen. That were in the works just straight out did not happen. So yeah. So a bit of context. First, this is by Cecil McFly, who I've known about for quite a while. She's kind of in the same vein as The Right Opinion, but bit more cynical. Like, you could probably compare her more to Mr. Medicare if you're familiar with his work. And as for what game this is, well, it's basically a remake of Metroid 2. I own both Metroid 2 on the Virtual Console for the 3DS, as well as Samus Returns, so plus I'm not making any money off of this, so I don't think Nintendo is going to really have a problem with this. I'm probably... So yeah. But as I was saying, I mentioned watching a video about a, let's say, certain bad apple. Oh, who reminds you very much of sour grapes. You can probably figure out who I'm referring to based on what those are commonly grouped in as. But anyways, it was about sometime last month, and while watching the video about this rotten banana, I was reminded of another female or a character who kind of threw a community under the bus, and while they've kind of fallen off, I don't think they died, since I probably would have heard about it. In fact, just let me double check. I have a backup video. Okay, yeah, she's still around, and hey, it has been like 4 years since this video was made, so while it is somewhat out of date, if Momo-kun sees this, know that this was more inspired by someone who reminded me of you at the time, who right now reminds me of you then. And if you don't want to watch this, don't worry, I have another video that doesn't explicitly focus on one, but rather focuses on something. Now, where is that Metroid? Ah. Now, before you start wondering, that does not mean that there are no Metroids left. Rather, I have it set on the global. Set it for local, so that basically means how many are nearby. And I kind of doubt this woman is involved in the VTuber scene. I mean, anyways, Momo-kun cosplay, I don't think she's a VTuber. She probably would have had a decent following already. But I bring this up, Asa. She probably would have already gotten, an agency simply because of her size. I'm not referring to a name simply because if I ever do feud with this person, I can simply point out that I've never on stream dissed them in person. But yeah, I bring this up because I've been trying to get in contact with the creator of this video to work on a project. So let's get into it, shall we?
Today, we will be discussing cosplay. Now, for some of the less knowledgeable, let me try to tell you what cosplay is. It stands for costume play, and it is a hobby that many partake in, young and old. Cosplaying characters from movies, anime, video games.
Just wanted to get the volume addressed. Let's also get this up to 720p, since pay might as well.
Games, just about from any kind of media. With the popularity in nerd culture rising, people have now been able to make a career about what once was a hobby for many. Today we're going to be talking about one of those career cosplayers. One who has been followed by controversy as well as praise, and that person is Momokun Cosplay. Momokun came into the notice of the cosplay community as the thick Samus cosplayer. Thick as in bigger but curvy. From the general population of cosplay enthusiasts, she was met with a decent amount of praise. The male fans loved her because she had a soft body, large hips, and a large bust that was very different from many other cosplayers. Also did what is known as lewd cosplay. Lewd cosplay is essentially softcore porn. Many female fans looked up to her because she was a beacon of hope for larger girls to be praised and appreciated. Now, what did Momokun do to fuck that up? We will be discussing this in parts. Some of these might be small or nitpicky and just come off as just really too much.
Yeah, you know, honestly, it's actually mainly the job thing that I kind of feel makes her fair game. Like, if she did this for free, I would probably just, I wouldn't be opposed to, like, watching this, but I would not cover this on stream. The second you make money, it becomes a lot easier for me to justify scrutiny, is what I'm saying. I've kind of gotten addicted to Tropical Punch Prime lately. Tastes better than Gatorade, and then the Gatorade and Fruit Punch Gatorade, which is also red.
But they are included to paint the greater picture of why she became a lowbrow, why other cosplayers did not. At the beginning, she often claimed the negativity towards her was due to jealousy from others and general fat hatred by many in the community. And that could be possibly some of it, but this can be seen as a cautionary tale. A cautionary tale of what happens when you gain online popularity without modifying your behavior in public. What happens when you run away from criticism from your...
Yeah, there is... I do believe that you can just say, like, oh, it's hate, just hate because of X up to a certain point. Momo can cross us that point.
Community.
But hey, it's been a while since this happened. 4 years to be exact. Wow, I feel almost 5. Huh. Tomorrow it'll be 5 years. I feel old.
And avoid addressing issues. This is a story of Momokun's cosplay career.
Good Masato
First,
cosplay.
before we start, nothing will be directed at Momo's body or her weight. That is a low blow, dudes. I would prefer if commenters also didn't add to the toxicity. It'll just give them fuel of victimhood and things that is wrong with her is not the way she looks. I personally think she looks nice. Some other people might not agree. Also, some of this...
You know, my policy on this is retaliate in kind. As far as I know, almost don't want to accidentally unsubscribe to Cecil. As far as with, like, the quartering, for example, he's made fun of, like, Megan Fox for how she looks. So I'd say he's fair game to make fun of for how he looks, but with Momo-Okan, as far as I know, she's never made fun of, like, someone for their weight, height, or looks, so this is actually a good decision. It's one of the reasons why I like Cecil's content. Particularly annoying boss right here. Now, it is worth noting that Cecil does actually have one VTuber related topic, although it's someone who was not a VTuber at the time. It's not Neanners before you ask. I could see that Cecil might know about Neanners, but she hasn't made a video on her unless there was some alternate persona that Neanners used.
It's word of mouth, so take it with skepticism. Alright guys, let's get into this. Momo-kun really launched herself into lolcow status when she was caught self-posting in an anonymous gossip message board by Momo-kun posting about herself with some interesting choice in words. She really solidified herself as being viewed as a lolcow by those in the community. Let's read some of her posts about herself. This will give you some insight into the mindset of Momo, aka Mariah Malad. That cheap spandex suit has gotten me more attention than you'll ever get. Featured on IGN and Arta Wigs and got me connections with Funimation. The thing is, sweetie, yeah, I don't have a perfect body, but I have a good attitude and outlook on life, and that's why people work with me. Because say what you want, I'm still gonna get paid. Every 1 month. I'm still being invited to conventions. I'm still getting photographers offering me shoots all over the place and dying to shoot with me. And I'm still giving back to the community. And no matter how much you hate on me or hate what I do, I'm always gonna be happy I'm doing what I love, and that keeps a smile on my face. So please, by all means, pound your little fingers into the keyboard as hard as you can and cry as...
You know, the funny thing about this is that there's very much a case of intent versus is actuality. Like, I think Momo-kun did not intend for this to be the reaction and she got, but things never rarely work out the way we intend them to. I know it might seem like I'm being defensive of her. I'm not. This is... I know this is probably normally Pippa Pipkin's channel in terrain, but first of all, she tends to focus on more current lolcows, whereas... Oh hey, energy tank.
As much as you want about me, because I'm too busy cashing my checks and flying to conventions across the country while you sit wherever you may be, wanting about a person you don't even know, complaining about things that don't really matter. But that's none of my business. One thing to know about these anonymous forums, never post in them. Reveal your identity. Mariah. And here's the other post I screen capped. Good luck with your raging insanity and fucking stupidity. Unlike you...
You know, I could understand... You know, I don't entirely agree with this. Like, I mean, like, if you're doing, like, an AI, then I'd say go ahead and post. But if you're not, then yeah, it's probably best to remain anonymous. I used to have a lot of trouble with this one missile expansion. Guess I do get better. Guess my theory about getting better the longer I am absent from a game, it's accurate. Then again, I should... Ah, the charge beam.
You, my shitty cosplays will actually take me somewhere, while no one will ever know your name. LOL. How pathetic. So the first and obvious problem people had with Momo-kun over her career is her constant need to lewd everything. When I say lewd, I mean skimp it up. That's the best way I can say it. Whether you find this annoying or you are into this. If you want to see a slutty Wario farting, that's up to you, man. But Mariah's need to make everything about her boobs and her butt became an annoyance to some in the community. Although that is something that people criticize her for, the main issue that is somewhat valid is her lewding up Kana from Dragon Maid. You see, the character in question is an underage-bodied individual. She is apparently thousands of years old, but according to the wiki on the series, Kana is 8 to 9 years old in the human registry. She is also...
I'm going to assume that means that Kana is like registered as being an 8-year-old, like for the sake of like a driver's license or whatnot. Not like dragon, like her age in dragon years translates. It's to 8 or 9, because that would raise the question of how old, of what human to dragon years translates as. But yeah, as I'm gonna say, like, that was a very questionable decision. Like, and the funny thing is that you'd think that she'd just go for Quetz of all characters, like... Ah, that's the spider ball. But you'd think she'd go for either... But here's the thing I don't get. If you wanted to go for, or like, given her body type, you'd think Lukoa would be the proper character. Or like, if she... Like...
also portrayed as very young. Early on, when Mariah was planning to cosplay this character, commenters begged her not to lewd her, and Momo at first said she wouldn't. Right here in this picture, she says she's going to lewd the adult version of Kana, not the underage one. Momo changing her mind even when it comes to things that are arguably morally wrong is a common thing. Soon we got comments from Mariah about Kana's thighs and then an ass shot of the little girl. People were not happy with this, and definitely gave her some backlash, and fan loss. Here's someone on Twitter saying, "Absolutely, I got some questions right now actually. Why do you find it necessary to sexualize a child? Your little, she's 1,000 years old in dragon years argument is so disgusting. The specifics don't matter because Kana is literally portrayed heavily as a child in the show. She goes to elementary school. Sorry if I say this word wrong. Toru refers to her as a child. She looks and acts like one. What happened to not looting a child, Mariah?
Could have just cosplayed
I'm not going to loot Kana.
And
Proceeds to stick her entire booty ass out in a Kana cosplay. Alcoholic drink. Even her Reddit was pretty much not happy with this. And she looted the lolly. Sexualizing Kana is pretty fucked up, no joke. Here's some more outrage from it. Montage. And she even danced in a bikini with the Kana wig and horns on her livestream. Momo had to have known she would receive this backlash. We can only assume why she did this, but my guess is it's for attention, and she did talk about this in a Q&A video she did.
You know, I could kind of excuse the bikini and the wig if she had done like adult Kana, but it honestly comes across more as I can get away with this rather than and I'm celebrating that I did this. 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 Wasn't sure if that was supposed to be a certain order or whatnot. Guessing I have to go somewhere or on the left side.
And she said she thought it was funny and admitted it to being wrong, and she wanted to use this as kind of a learning lesson. But it is arguable that she did learn from this as we keep going. Alright, on to the other controversial part of Momo's career. Body positivity. So although many people saw Momo-kun, aka Mariah Mallet, as a body positive, plus-size cosplayer, people have found reasons to say she is not. People had noticed old posts of hers that insulted girls' bodies. Here are some old posts from people who were on her Facebook. They are perhaps not relevant, but here she says, 4 things about the person I hate. She's fat and disgusting. Next it says, you can either die fit or die fat, your choice. People have also seen her insulting other girls' looks. This is another old Facebook post, but here, I'm removing my ugly friends. So if you're removed, you're ugly. And then one of her friends says, I'm fucked. And then Mariah says, it's a joke, but I did remove this one girl that I just added because she was hideous. Here's something a little more recent. So a girl on her public Facebook page told her to kill herself. I know that's never right to do. You should never tell someone to kill themselves, no matter what. The girl was definitely in the wrong for that. But Momo proceeds to post a not flattering picture of the girl from her profile, so that means she went into the girl's profile. And if you can't tell why she did that, it was so all her fanboy white knights can go after this girl for not being as hot as Momo. And I'm censoring the girl's face in this because I don't feel comfortable with that. There was also a person who came out and claimed she knew Mariah in high school and revealed to fans something Mariah probably didn't want to share. Let's go through the post. So, this person says, in before, Momo-kun cosplay throws a fit about bullying even though she bullied me and all other nerdy kids in high school. She didn't like weebs. She talks about how she's loved cosplay, anime, video games, etc. Yet in high school, every Halloween, she was like a cat or some shit, and I never saw her at any of the local cons. Peculiar. She told me her excuse was, I was trying to fit in with the popular kids, except the popular kids were really nice and typically nerdy. And then the girl also says, she's the reason I ended up homeschooling. I dreaded going to school because she was so awful to my group. And then come to find she's a cosplayer now. Whoa. And then this alleged victim ended up messaging Mariah on her Facebook, and to summarize it, I'm just gonna show it on the screen. Mariah denied knowing her, the girl tried to get her to admit it, and even dropped the location of the school, and was like, you're the Mariah Mallet who went to this high school, right? So, I don't know if it's true what she's saying, because I don't know where Momo went to high school, but the real kicker is Momo's apology. She does this backhanded apology thing always. I'm sorry you felt that way. If there's anything I can do to make up for it, let me know. I'm not asking you at all for you to feel bad. I was given an explanation. Explanations can help solve problems. If you feel that way about me, that's fine. I'm sorry that I've caused you to have these feelings towards me. I hope they one day change. I'm sorry you feel that way. Now, people do change from high school. That's really true, but I saw a post from Mariah that was essentially saying, I'm going to put it on the screen, but she was saying something like, be careful who you call nerdy and fat in high school. So, if this is true, and considering the girl dropped the high school name, I'm thinking it could be true. She's lying to her fans. The big reason people say Momo is not body positive is because she got lipo. This might really seem petty, as you can be body positive while still changing your own body. But 1, it does send a certain kind of message to big girls who looked up to her. And more importantly, 2, she lied about it. During the time of the lipo saga, she was posting workout pics like she was losing weight through hard work, saying she was not getting lipo. Here's a post from her saying, I was 209 a little over a month ago, 177 pounds now, been dieting and exercising again, thank you for the motivation. I feel great. This person goes, how the fuck did you lose 30 plus pounds in a month? Explain. And then later on in the conversation, somebody already pointed out the dots on her body.
You know, I was going to bring this up, but like, I've been trying to lose weight, but but I'm not nearly as overweight as like Momo apparently was, as there hasn't been a number attached yet, so I don't know how much this actually is. I don't know if it's my keyboard or something for the program I use for my avatar, but either way, I keep on getting my avatar changing back to purple for whatever reason.
body. She's been getting liposuction. Yeah, but I'm inclined to think people are especially deluded or extremely unfamiliar with lipo stars. Eventually, Momo did admit to her getting lipo in a video, but that was after her cause friend outed her on Twitter. You can have your own opinion about it, and people are saying she recently got lipo again. I don't have a confirmation for that, but there's that. She might have gotten lipo twice now. And she can do what she wants, but lying to your fans is a problem people have had with her. This is the most nitpicky section of this video, but I felt it needed to be addressed as a lot of people bring this up when talking negatively about Mariah. So let's continue. So Momo has quite an extensive life on Twitter. Well, she did. She has been banned not once, but twice. Let's explore some of her rudeness on Twitter and why people decided that she was not a positive artist in the community any longer. Now, because of some older tweets, Momo-kun got banned for the first time a while back. She was targeted by a Twitter user called ThreatSlayer. This Twitter user often goes after people he doesn't like. The tweets that he used to get her banned are really old, and it is weird to be banned for that, but let's read a few of them. And I want to avoid to use the N-word, which she does in these tweets. And she's pretty liberal with using derogatory words in her tweets. Wouldn't mind going to jail the rest of my life for murdering this bitch, just to see the look on my dad's face. I'm more twisted than people think. I hope this bitch gets fucking slit open and smashed by a truck, eyes gouged out, ripped apart, the works. No, fuck you, twig bitch. We don't want your drama-filled ass. Hashtag stay away. At Anime Clips, later I gotta roast a bitch real quick for hating my cosplay. I hope you fucking rot in hell, you stupid cunt. Pretty eyes and a cute smile is all a girl needs. What if she's fat with lopsided boobs? The fuck? Who is this piece of shit? I'll fucking shoot this bitch in the head and drag her around like a prize dumb bitch. Now after getting banned, / suspended, she violated TOS again when she made a new account, getting her banned once more. Some people think it's because of this tweet here where she offers to supply a hater with bleach to consume. I need bleach for your eyes or to ingest. Either or, I'll go get it for you. But it's most likely because of the terms of services. This is from Twitter. If you attempt to evade a permanent suspension by creating new accounts, we will suspend your new accounts. Let's look at some other tweets from this woman that really bothered people and continued the general dislike she received.
I'm now wondering if he could get a certain mid-tier furry banned since he's kind of ban evading. I'm not going to go out of my way, but this is more of a if I was to put my mind to it, could I go out of my way to do it sort of thing? Probably best not to waste time or brain cells thinking about it. It would be a much better form of revenge, and if I just lived my life and became successful while he wallowed in lol cowdom. Or should I say, while he quacked away in lol cowdom.
Oh, here's one. She doxed a guy. Someone criticized her cosplay here, and she responds by saying, "How hard is it not to be a raging cunt?" There is this series of tweets. I'm not gonna read them all out, but I'm gonna summarize it here that I thought was very telling of her kind of personality. There is a series of tweets with fans about the anime Devilman Crybaby. She is really rude to the people over the potential gay relationship between two characters. According to the comments, the ship between these two men are gay. If that is true, Mariah certainly shows her ass here, and I've seen some evidence that there's actually some kind of romance. And she apologizes in the end, knowing that she kind of messed up. Here she throws shade at a cosplayer, which is rather petty as a public figure in the community where anti-bullying is seen as an important topic.
Ooh, shad face. You know, to be fair, it's not really relevant to the story, and even if it was, I don't think that what happened to him happened until after this video, but still.
And now for a montage of some stuff, because I can't read every one of them. So there has been multiple reports of Momo-kun being rude to those in her community, whether it be from con-goer encounters, fellow professional cosplayers, or photographers. These are all accounts from people, so if you want to take their word for it, you can. Or you can cast your own doubt. Let's look at fan encounters and interactions first. And before we can even get into personal experiences with Momo-kun, I'd like to point out this video here.
I see the person with my thing.
Mariah pays for her life with cosplay, meaning her profession is cosplaying. I'm pretty sure racial slurs at work would get most people fired. She tried to claim that she was trying to say one of May's lines, but I don't recall her saying that. Oh. Okay, there it is. One person tweets their own personal experience without...
You know, I cannot comment on what May's lines are. I don't play Overwatch, so... maybe... It is... I will give Momo the possibility that she might have actually that there might be a line like that she just misremembered. Or so, all I can really offer to that one is a... maybe. Still, I took him back down.
Adding Momo. And they say, although at one of my friend's photo shoots, a big-name cosplayer proceeded to kick a part of my costume, not once, but twice, with plenty of room to walk around her. We're all in this hobby together doesn't mean you get to break someone's costume because you have more followers. And Momo-kun even responds to this not being added, which kinda says some guilt to me at least. And she said she didn't mean to, but girl, really? No one added you. So here's another post. She's been a total bitch to me and a couple of my friends on separate occasions. She snubbed me when I tried to get a photo with her after she had already taken photos with a group of other people. And I would have been fine with it if she had said, no, I'm busy, have to go, or I'm tired.
You know, the funny thing about the post she responded to was if she just said, hey, I heard that there was a report of someone kicking things while I was there, that wasn't me. She probably could have actually dodged the accusation, since unless the person who made the call-out post explicitly made like a follow-up naming her, no one would have automatically made the connection, since there are plenty of female cosplayers. Like, well, I think it would have been out of character. People might have just as easily guessed it was just as Jessica Nigiri. Yes, it was Momo-kun. Although I haven't really heard anything to suggest Nigiri, or he is like that as a person. She's perfectly fine, from what I know. Well, I was just bringing up an example off the top of my head. And I've never met Jessica Nigiri's. So what do I know? Thank God Samus's power suit lets her breathe underwater. Various suit time.
At the moment. Instead, she looked me up and down, judged me, and said, no, while stifling a laugh, then just walked away. The dude who was holding my phone for me to take a picture was just shocked at her behavior. I didn't even know who she was. It was just a Mei cosplayer from Overwatch, and I wanted to fire an ice pick. She slapped the ass of one of my friends and made some very lewd comments about his butt and propositioned him in front of his girlfriend. And that same day, she apparently took out a bullhorn and shouted a bunch of fake Chinese words going, I'm not gonna say that. I don't know how true this picture is. My friend told me he got a pic with Momo-kun at AX, and she didn't smile because he wasn't paying her on Patreon. This person here was saying, I've literally never done anything to Momo-kun in my life, except maybe run into her twice at conventions. I don't understand why I'm getting such hostility from her. This Chell girl, she was in an earlier screen cap, she's calling her a fucking lunatic, and what Momo-kun is saying is, you sit there and bitch about how you offer free content lewds like GG, showing your asshole for free and getting an attitude with us, LOL, no. And Mariah posted like a big conversation she had about another cosplayer, and this was all because this cosplayer posted that she had a negative experience with Momo, and she said something, this is I think where she's addressing her, she says, unfortunately a lot of people take her words seriously just because she has a large social following. I've already seen these side effects in Vegas, and I can only see it getting worse going forward and spreading.
I guess
so
what
you don't need to
happened in
call her
Vegas
out, you don't need to
Vegas.
fight her, or even approach her. Hell, you can even be her friends. Hell, you can even be friends with her. But I hope if you guys hear about the shitty things she's claiming, you'll set the record straight, and I hope the friends I have on here know that I'm not the kind of person she makes me out to be. And this is the person who posted this. They said, at Mariah Mallard, it was a filtered private Facebook post that you made public to start drama. Sorry, not feeding into it. Have a safe flight home. And then Mariah says, dude, just leave me alone. Keep my name out of your mouth and stop spreading shit. You toxic, just stop. Some other person says, low-key chuckling, Momo-kun tried to start beef with me a few months ago for no reason. Didn't even know who she was. And even her friend told her to stop being dramatic. And as I write the script, apparently her old friend, I think her name is Nana Bear, old cosplay friend, very talented, I saw some of her pictures, has come forward through a friend telling everyone that Momo caused her to quit cosplaying and her deleting all her social media. The person in question posted their conversation with screen caps between her and Nana, but let me read the post that summarizes all of it. So they wrote, she doesn't know I'm posting these things, but it needs to be brought to everyone's attention. I'm friends with a certain cosplayer. She and I go way back. I know for a fact she deleted her accounts because of Mariah being awful to her. Like the fact that she missed her wedding because she decided to have lipo the same weekend, in a whim, when she RSVP'd and had 2 months notice. She also dealt with Mariah telling her she needed lipo, and to correct herself, she had so many issues. Being stranded at a Greyhound station when she swore she would pick her up, made her Uber, and that was a $60 Uber, and she even ditched her at the con when she felt sick. She ended up passing out, and a stranger walked her to her hotel, even paid for the Uber. A stranger had to do it because she wouldn't. I brought all these issues once on my personal Facebook and Twitter, but I had to delete because it gave her major anxiety thinking she'd buried with many countless people Mariah has burned. I think people need to know Mariah bullied someone into leaving the community. So yeah, they posted the conversations that were personal, and we know it's Nana because Nana posted after the con that she passed out at the convention and no one helped her. And that's really important, and I should go more into it, but she bullied Nana Bear, who was really talented out of cosplaying. Next is her drama with photographers. Momo-kun also has a history with photographers she has worked with. So sometime around last year, Momo-kun got called out by a photographer that shot with her as her Lust cosplay. The photographer posted caps of Momo, asking him to Photoshop the photos thinner, and the photographer said no. And when Momo asked for the raw files of the images so she could edit them, he refused her, so she blocked him. Here is a conversation she had with the photographer, where she asked him to get her thinner. And from what I've heard from photographers, I'm not one, they do not give out raws. This is their work and how they wanted it to look, and he even says that in the conversation. Note, this is a photographer that shot her for free. Upon releasing these messages, apparently Momo went on a long rant video spree on social media. People hounded Mariah about crediting the photographer. Mariah deleted the entire comment thread about it, while the photo is still up with no credit. And according to this post here from a photographer that I know worked with her, she's apparently a nightmare to work with, so let's read this. So I'm not the type of person to tell someone that I will never work with them, or be outright mean to them. But Katsucon this year, I had to tell a nasty racist cosplayer that I would never work with them and that I have better people to shoot with. Someone known for doing horrible things to people does not deserve to be within any media kind of light, except for exposing them for who they are. Now finding out that there has been more added to this person's list of things they've done, I feel much better that I did. Don't ask me names, I won't go further than most of you know who I'm talking about. Now, another thing that irks people about Momo-kun is that she doesn't make her own cosplay. That really isn't the real issue. The real issue is that she takes credit for other people's work. Not crediting people seems to be a theme for Mariah. I got a lot of this from screen caps from a Tumblr documenting Momo's sketchiness. I will link it down below. Thank you. I will be directly quoting it here. So sometime a while ago, she released some cosplay progress pictures. While updating her followers on the progress for her Beekeeper May costume, Mariah posted this picture of the neck piece. She doesn't outright claim it's her work, but she also does not give credit to anyone who made these pieces. About a day later, she posts the same piece again, saying she added highlights to it. Again, there is no credit for whoever made it, letting her followers assume it was her. On the same day, it was revealed that another cosplayer by the name of Korean Barbecue, aka David, Snapchatted this exact neck piece, saying he made it. Korean Barbecue and Mariah were friends and worked together on various other pieces, mostly Korean Barbecue making many of her armors for past cosplayers. Just last month, they had a very public split, which we'll get into later, which resulted in Korean Barbecue removing his social media, or so people thought. People were unsure if this was legit, since the cap does not show any username or other proof that it was Korean Barbecue Snapchat. However, people who are friends with Korean Barbecue or who have friends who are friends with people close to Korean Barbecue did their own investigation. It was then confirmed by various sources that Korean Barbecue made this piece, as well as a pair of gloves. Upon realizing that Mariah had posted a picture of the neck piece and did not credit Korean Barbecue, people started asking questions on her Facebook post. At first, Mariah claims she made the pieces, but when pressured more about it, full-on admits Korean Barbecue made it. Mariah also claims she did credit him on her Instagram story. However, others that follow her say that is a lie. I can't confirm since I don't follow her. However, and this is from the Tumblr, this is their point of view. However, even if she did, giving him credit in a story is not sufficient. These stories are deleted in 24 hours, while the Facebook, Instagram posts remain up without the credit. Credit should be given across all platforms. And out of the me copying from Tumblr, but I'm giving credit. I'm going to link them below. Here's a discussion between Korean Barbecue and a friend on the matter. This is Korean Barbecue, aka David. Yeah, she wanted me to make the neck piece.
You know, I will admit that I have not exactly been the best in regards to adding the links, but the thing is, it's more I've just been meaning to go back. Besides, I don't think that they're missing out on the 2 or 3 views, and usually I do at least mention it by the creator by name if you go back, so I have been meaning to just go back and correspond on my watch history with my streams on those days, excluding the ones I ended up privating for reasons. And one of the more annoying puzzles is on its way. But first another beam upgrade. I've always wondered if we'll ever get a Metroid game that lets you get the plasma beam as the first upgrade.
And the gloves. Did she post about them already? The neck piece already, yes. That was quick. She told me she repainted it though to match the rest of her stuff. I spent so much time on it. Boy, you gonna cut ties with her? She's toxic. Hopefully once I finish what's left of the commissions. No, not hopefully. You will, because she's just that toxic for you. So, with the guy Korean Barbecue. So, with the guy Korean Barbecue, the one who made her cosplay pieces, well, let's get into Momo running this guy off the internet. So she ran this guy off the internet around July 2017. Here, let me recap this in the quickest words possible, because we're going to be here forever. Apparently, they were hooking up, Korean Barbecue and Mariah. And Korean Barbecue didn't want to pursue a long-time relationship with Mariah, so she went nuts on Twitter, claiming he didn't want her because she was too fat, all this stuff. She proceeds to post constantly. She does an Insta story ranting on him, and she even posts a picture that is very easy to figure out who she's talking about. See this picture? She had this picture posted before without the X. So for anyone who follows her, they'll know who it is. Because she has posted videos with him, they've done cosplays together, she's tagged him before. And so obviously, with all of Momo's white knights, the guy fled off the internet. All because he didn't want to date her. So Mariah had a past with doing charity streams and other charity stuff, including charity prints. She has bragged about this, but there are details that are rather sketchy. Her first charity was for hurricane relief, and here's a conversation on Twitter about people bringing up issues with it. Shout out to Mariah Malad for having people donate to her under false pretenses. That's called fraud. Mariah responds, "What are you talking about? What false pretenses?" Then the person says, "You literally said the proceeds of the shoot is going to charity, then said it wasn't. So which is it?" I really have to thank Momokun Cosplay, the Tumblr, because they really explained this for me. According to the Momokun Cosplay Tumblr page that I referenced earlier, so this is what it says, and I'm quoting this word for word, so full credit to them. About 2 months ago, Mariah started multiple charity projects for various different causes. The first being a print set where the proceeds would go to hurricane relief. The second being a charity stream for victims of the Las Vegas shooting. TLDR, she was very slow and very unprofessional setting all of these charity projects up. 2 months have passed since her first stating the prints would go to charity, and they're still in pre-order. A month has passed with her not continuing the stream to reach her goal. Because of this, people have been upset, and also because she kept giving different dates for when she would continue the stream. Finally, Mariah tweeted towards the end of October that she would try to stream a few more times, and if she did not meet her goal of 2,500 by the end of the month, she'd donate the rest herself. Here's from her, she says, "I'm going to try to do the charity stream a few more times before the end of the month. If we don't reach the goal, I'm going to donate the rest." Despite her saying she'd just donate the rest if she didn't reach the goal, 3 days later she tweeted that she won't be able to stream because she has to finish cosplay for BlizzCon, with no mention of donating the money. This is her tweet saying, "I don't think I'll be able to do the stream the next 2 days. I'll try my best, but I gotta finish my Punk Watch May. Ooh. And oh, here's some comments from it. Someone says, "I'm going to need the exact date at this point. You're being highly unprofessional. You've scammed so many fans by trying to gain sympathy. The people suffering don't have time to wait for your cosplays. Donate the money you've made so far with a screenshot so we know." It seems that Mariah kept changing the time for when she planned on going through with it. She changed her tune again and said she donated on November 2nd, since that's apparently when she started the campaign. Here's some responses to her saying that. They say, "Where the fuck is the donation money, Mariah? If you haven't yet, report her to Twitch." She did get banned from Twitch. And this is her response, "What are you talking about? The money is being donated tomorrow. That's the end of the campaign. 1 month, I started October 2nd. Back to the Tumblr post. After days of no news, again, someone asked when she'd be donating the money, and once again she changed it to when she got back from BlizzCon. The Tumblr points out that it's very easy to donate money. Finally, after a week of loitering outside of BlizzCon, Mariah posted she donated the money. She donated $2,500 to Las Vegas victims. That at least concludes the charity stream. For the prints, however, that's still up in the air, and I still don't know about that, so. And then the Tumblr says, "I've said this in every post about this charity bullshit, but please don't fucking donate through her. It took her a month to donate the streaming money, and all she had to do was put her card info into the website. If you want to donate $15, then donate $15 to the charity. Do not be scammed by her." And I think I think personally, doing these charities to encourage people to donate money is a great thing. I have not seen an update on her other charity, which the Prince one, I think it might still be. If anyone knows about that, please comment. I did look up kind of rules for charity streaming. So at least with streaming, I couldn't find rules because there were no rules. But from somebody who said this on Reddit, I'll put the screen cap here. They said the best practice is to donate the money immediately and show proof, because there's no reason you can't just send the money and show.
You know, I have mentioned how I did debt donations if I hit death goals for Stalker or Shadow of Chernobyl, and later a combined one for both Call of Pripyat and Clear Sky, obviously in the opposite order. But I did actually provide proof on Twitter of the one for Shadow of Chernobyl, and I can't provide proof of the joint one for Clear Sky and Call of Pripyat, but that's because, well, I'd either have to dox my credit card info to do so, actually debit card now that I think about it, or I'm gonna have to wait until after or I get the info back. Since if you don't know, the second thing was a Sign My Rocket donation, which I gave to this 10-year anniversary of this website I've been a part of called Kitsu. Very good website if you're looking for an alternative to Twitter. It's more like Tumblr in terms of the layout, but it's still fun to use.
That you did it. Mariah at least was not being forward or most respectable, and this is her full-time job. But you can take this as you want. And here's some posts that were commenting on the sketchy behavior of her charity. This is from the Facebook post that was right around when the big drama with her sexual assault thing came up. I remember she banned anyone who commented on how she never mentioned anything about the donations for the Las Vegas shooting after her goals were met. LMAO. She's only mad because they're right. LMAO. Yeet. LMAO. Fuck, I didn't know she did that too. All I knew was she did a fundraiser with prints for Hurricane Harvey and never donated it or sent out prints. Yeah, dude, it's fucked. I was skeptical until I was banned for pointing it out. She said she was going to donate the funds, which changed to her claiming she'd do it after a con she's supposed to attend. Then the amount she said she had gotten for the charity changed in the middle of her backpedaling about swearing that she wasn't using said funds for the con instead of donating it like she agreed upon. Then, nothing. A bunch of people asked for receipts, and she went on spree to shut them all down and cover up. So I wasn't the only one! Holy shit, she's pathetic. She did talk about her donations and profits in her Q&A video, so watch that. But yeah, the Tumblr did a really good outline of that, so thank you, Momo-kun Tumblr. Now on to the next topic. So not crediting artists who do cosplay work is not the only artist that Momo-kun rips off. There are two major accounts of Momo stealing work from other creators and claiming them as her own. The first creator is MyAppa and their Red Riding Hood costume design. You can see the comparison between these two and same. MyAppa was not at all happy to find their design taken by Momo and contacted her quickly. Here's the post that one person alerted MyAppa to this stealing. They said, "Can you do something about this? That's your design she stole." Then they gave her the Facebook page, and then she posted a comment on that. Momo-kun tried to backtrack with this, and she ended up losing a friendship with another creator named Onips. The friendship that was ended and the conversation between Momo-kun and Onips really summarizes why the stealing of MyAppa's art is horrible, and how much Momo deceived people. And this conversation was released publicly by Onips, so let's look through the parts that are about MyAppa. So Momo says, "And the whole red thing is like, what? You can't copyright fashion." And they never got back to me, so I had another girl make me something similar, but not exact. People just try too hard. Nips, her input is, "These things you call inspiration are complete rip-offs. Even you must see that. I refuse to believe you don't. I know you're better than that. The Riding Hood one is identical. You have to change probably at least 65% to claim it as original. And with the red, she is similar, but we changed the beige to white, and changed the corset and length and other details to make it different, but it was absolutely the design Lauren was working off of. We contacted the lady to make it, but we didn't hear back from her, and I was on a timeline, so I needed to get it done ASAP for the shoot. So I went with Lauren, and she let me know that it was okay as long as we changed things. I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking differently. I enjoy seeing others' point of views." And then she says, "Well, I never called it original. I said it was inspiration from MyAppa. It's not really original because it looks similar to it. I definitely am not saying it's an original idea at all. I wanted to look at them. Also, clothing cannot be copyrighted. I made sure I discussed this with Laura firstly." So Onips points out to Momo that there is a copyright disclaimer, and Momo says, "With the Appa, I didn't even read the disclaimer. I didn't know there was one. There absolutely is creative license, but I went ahead and asked other fashion designers if it was an acceptable thing to be made as long as it wasn't exact. From what I was told, clothing cannot have a copyright, or something that is public domain cannot."
I don't know about you, but I would ask a lawyer about that sort of thing, not a clothing designer. Huh. Guess I was wrong about this section. Beta Metro. Oh, Gamma Metroids.
Not either. The problem with this is that Momo did try to contact her, and she knew that she was copying her design. Another artist's work Momo stole was this cowgirl cosplay that she did, which looks exactly like a character from a hentai called Milk Party. Funny enough, at first, when Momo did the outfit, she credited the hentai.
I have not actually watched that before you ask.
for
Although this does at least suggest that she has in fact changed since high school, since if she really still hated anime, she probably wouldn't have watched Milk Party, or at the very least, East might have said, wouldn't have clarified the title.
Again, that you're someone who actually did a cosplay and referenced it and said, "This is my Milk Party cosplay." Now,
that actually is a good. Mary Doll actually did do a good cosplay on that.
For some reason, she's saying, "This is my my original OC. Please don't steal." She even copied a pose from the original hentai. Mariah, come on. Trying not to be catty here, but she's like, that's the same pose. Again, the conversation between Onips and Momo, I'm going to use this to kind of discuss how much Momo fucked up. It describes it so perfectly. Onips did a great job. Momo says, "There's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from a design and making something similar but not exact. That's kind of what cosplay is." Then Onips says, "Mumu is a character that you backtracked on and made into your own OC after it was originally a cosplay of a character from a hentai manga. Sonoko has a cowgirl skin, but that's different between saying something is a cosplay and acknowledging a copyright of a character and then adding horns and calling it an OC. It doesn't work that way." Well, think about it this way. There's no problem in creating a cowgirl character that happens to look like a hentai character by accident. But to explicitly say you're cosplaying it and then turning it into your own character is theft. However, if you change your design up way more than just adding little horns, you could definitely call Mumu your own. She literally said she was cosplaying the character and then was like, "Now it's my own character." So on to the next part of the art stealing. Momo has this phrase called "lewds not nudes," something like that. But she's semi been called out from stealing it from other fetish models. The one that we're going to talk about is SSS Succubus. Sorry if I...
You know, the funny thing is that I'd be willing to bet she could have actually pulled it off if she just, like, inverted the cow print and made it so that it's more prominent as black, as, like, it's more, the black is more prominent than the white, or hell, maybe made it so that it was brown instead of black, since, you know, there are brown dairy cows. I was maybe perhaps also changed out the hair color. It wasn't like it was easy. It was hard. I'm just throwing suggestions out, and I'm actually coming up with a half-decent OC. Of course, knowing in the internet, it's entirely possible someone else already came up with said OC, but you know what? I'm not an artist, so if someone wants to steal my idea, they are more than welcome to do so. They don't even have to credit me in this instance, since, like...
Say that wrong. Here's them acknowledging this, and this is all within the light of everything going on recently. This person on Twitter says, "The slogan belonged to SS Succubus and is on her website. Anyone who has been her fan for the years she has done modeling work knows this is her motto. I'm not okay with staying silent on the issue of theft by @Mariah Mallard." And as Swimsuit, aka SS Succubus, Swimsuit Succubus says, "I assume the slogan was a coincidence because at the time so many others were co-opting the phrase lewds in reference to their non-nude erotic photos. Something like that won't hurt my business, but the other cases of copying are hurtful to the artist and can't be ignored." So she's kind of taking the high ground here. You're completely avoiding the most important issue here. Let's look at how you stole a copyrighted design from a small-time creator and also thought you could steal a popular hentai character and it wouldn't catch on eventually. Swimsuit Succubus' statement, I find legitimate, but you think you can use that one statement for everything you've done here. It doesn't prove anything else. Try again, love. Girl. Alright, that's the end of that. On to the next subject. So now into the events that caused the hashtag Momokun is cancelled to trend. So before Anime Expo, which is a huge anime convention, happened this year, the year of 2018, someone contacted a company that she was working with. She had an event set up with them for a meet and greet. So the group Creators Guild said, "Glad to be working with Mariah Mallard again for Anime Expo days 1 and 3. Someone responded, "Are you aware that she sexually assaults people at conventions?" Which they responded, "Thank you for your concern. Creators Guild does not condone violence or harassment, both physical and verbal, from either cosplayers or regular individuals. If there was an incident of this kind, we wish to hear it directly from that person involved." This spurred a whole big mess. So Bunny Ayumi came forward because of this. She says, "Sexual harassment should not be dismissed. It is not easy to come forward, but I've gained the courage to speak up. At AX last year, Momokun slapped my ass in front of a large crowd of people without my permission after I had just met her. K-Bear."
I wonder how many of the people who were mentioned in this video are still on Twitter. Maybe I'll see if I can give any of them a follow.
Then says, I usually keep my mouth shut, but since I realize I'm not alone, I feel like I will say something. Mariah has also touched me without my permission. When we first met at Otakon, Vegas, pulled my top down while I was in cosplay and exposed my nipple in a bathroom full of people. Here's another post that says, this wouldn't be my first time meeting Momo. At ALA, I was doing classic bare legs Robin. I don't mind my friends touching my thighs, but at a hotel party she straight up dug one hand between my ass and the other on my bulge and ran off laughing. And like,
I'm going to assume that's Robin from One Piece, not Robin from Batman.
the whole party accidentally touched me or
although
pushed
that would be a very
her ass
interesting
against me when
cosplay.
I was on wall going, oops. Like I told people at the party and they're all like, oh, that's just Momo. She's playing, don't be sensitive. Here's another post I found. After some pushing from my friends, I wanted to say that Momo-kun did the same thing to me as we're hearing about now. At ColossalCon last year during the day, I was booty dancing with one of my friends at our villa, hanging out with a large group of people I knew. She was the only one I didn't know, and we hadn't been introduced yet. My friends and I were dancing and I was turned in another direction. She put a megaphone up to my pussy to make fun of me. I didn't realize it until she literally put it so hard against my pussy. I felt it and stopped, turned around, looked at her in complete disbelief and said, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop that. I don't know you, don't do that." She gave me a look like I was nuts and never even introduced herself to me, or apologized, despite hanging out in the villa with the rest of us for the rest of the evening. I felt humiliated and hurt, and it ruined my mood for the evening. Although, for some people you might just say, these are just some claims from some hateful people on Twitter. But there is video evidence of her touching someone without permission, right here. So feel like that as you may, there's evidence of this. And considering there's so many people coming out about this, and SS Succubus doesn't really need her help. She earned a lot of money on a GoFundMe to get in, I don't know how to pronounce this, but she did like a lewd game. She doesn't need to bank on Mariah's fame for her. So take it as you want, but that is the sexual assault cases, and hopefully everyone who's been hurt, I hope you guys are okay.
I'm assuming that the word is erogue, I think it is.
Times I get a little like crazy.
And this is the story that really made me decide to do this
think a lot of
in
it
relation
has to
to
do with,
Miss
like, having
Rotten
ADHD
Apple,
and, like,
because
having with
Miss
control
Rotten
myself
Apple threw.
sometimes.
Closing time! Anyways, so that really sums up Momo's career as best as I can personally do it. If I got anything wrong, or missed anything you find to be important, please let me know. I don't really want Momo to lose her career. I just wanted to point out that she's been looked down upon by the community for a while now, not just because of sexual assault stuff. Some of them might not be the most valid things, some things might be just haters. You can decide as
I'm not
a viewer
playing that
if you
before
think
you
she
asked.
should deserve
That's part of
those
the
other
video.
things. Let this be a cautionary tale. With Momo, she gained a career and a following. That seems to have gone to her head, and whether it be laziness or maliciousness, she did not go about her small fame well. I really think it is a common theme in many of those who are considered lolcows, the theme of them not being careful of what they put out there on the internet. Before the whole sexual assault controversy, if Momo had just simply respected other artists, their space, and their work, she would not have painted a target on her own back. That being said, I cannot defend her stripping and touching other cosplayers like she did. I hope Momo learns from this, betters herself, and doesn't blame ADHD for her behavior. And maybe I'm being nicer to her because she's a girl and there is a double standard, and I apologize if I do that.
Well, that was a fun video. Let's do some... I could end the stream here, since this was the main one I wanted to react to, but let's actually end e-lookup, see if Brights on film. If it says anything good. Just so we can end it with a different take. I've actually been subscribed to this channel for quite a while. Since it's kind of relevant as of late, let's do Titanic too.
There is perhaps no ship in history as famous as the Titanic. It of course famously sank on her maiden voyage on April 15, 1912. Just 710 passengers were saved, while 1,496 people perished. It was, by all accounts, an enormous tragedy and has become infamously known around the world. The story since, however, has been romanticized and is still very much in the public consciousness even to this day, over 110 years later. With all of that sustained interest, there have been several attempts to rebuild this iconic ocean liner. My name is Jake, and in this episode of Cancelled, we're going to look at just that. From insane ideas of the past, to some that made it very close to fruition, and even to some that are actually happening right now. This is the, so far, never built Titanic 2. This episode of Cancelled is sponsored by HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com and use the code BSF16 to get up to 16 free meals. Olympic, and later the RMS Britannia. After all, the sister ship of the RMS Olympic was never free meals, and she was, after all, the sister ship of the RMS Olympic, and later the RMS Britannic. Really, all three sister ships were nearly identical apart from minor differences. Titanic and Britannic famously sank shortly after their launch, leaving just the Olympic to live out a full-service career. Indeed she did, and was finally scrapped in 1935. The Olympic class of ships had now been erased, and any tangible sailing legacy of the Titanic no longer existed. For decades, all sorts of pretty out-there ideas were proposed, perhaps most famously by Clive Cussler, who wrote a novel called Raise the Titanic in 1976. That was adapted into a pretty bad movie in 1980. The whole thing was based on a concept that would turn out to be impossible after the wreck was finally found in 1985, since of course the wreck is in two pieces. It wouldn't be until 1997 when the ship in the story was once again thrusted into the popular culture. James Cameron's film Titanic supercharged a whole new fascination for the luxury ocean liner, and apparently brought the idea of resurrecting it to
I've actually read some of Clive Cussler's books. Good author.
a whole new level. In 1998, a South African businessman named Cyril Gose had plans to build a nearly exact replica of the original ship at the cost of $500 million. It would be equipped with the latest technology, enough lifeboats for everyone on board, and feature some modern ship designs like bow thrusters, diesel engines, and a bulbous bow. From the outside though, the ship would appear nearly exactly the same as it did in 1912. This was made public in a 1998 issue of Popular Mechanics, and even made the front page. But he wasn't alone. There was also a company based in Switzerland who were working at building their very own replica ship. Cyril said he could begin as soon as 1999, and the Switzerland company claimed that they could have their ship finished by 2002. Both projects, however, just fizzled away. Cyril tried to fundraise money in 2000 with little success. By 2006, he had officially canceled the project. It wouldn't be until around the 100-year anniversary of the sinking that someone would try to renew this concept once again. This time, it was from quite the character in Australia named Clive Palmer. Now, he's a rather polarizing figure, and has had his fingers in some truly weird projects in the past. Despite whatever you may think of him, he certainly does have the money and political power to make things happen, with his net worth somewhere around $2 billion. With an apparent fascination for the Titanic and perhaps some inspiration from Cyril Go's project back in the 90s, Palmer announced the Titanic 2 in a press conference tour around major cities. Palmer's idea was the most fleshed out, and over the course of 2013, quite a bit of information was released not only about how this was all going to happen, but also on the ship itself. Immediately upon first glance, this concept has some striking differences. Of course, many of the iconic design cues remain in place, basically the entire superstructure and aesthetic design of the vessel. One noticeable difference, though, is the inclusion of an entire, quote, safety deck. which would essentially house modern lifeboats and their rigging. This deck would also feature undisclosed new common area spaces for passengers. According to these very early and preliminary general arrangement schematics for the project, cabins would be enlarged for their very own private bathrooms. Air conditioning would now run throughout the ship, while many of the staples of the Olympic-class liners like the indoor swimming pool, squash court, grand staircases, lounges, and dining rooms would all be meticulously recreated. While some spaces would be modernized where it made sense, other areas like the radio room, original lifeboats, and many of the outdoor deck spaces would be nearly identical to
I find it interesting that none of the attempts were actually by the British. Like, it's almost like they've learned, yeah, we probably shouldn't mention this.
the original ship, allowing passengers to sail a comfortable yet authentic museum-like experience. Rising above the top decks would be 4 funnels. This time, the first 2 forward would serve no purpose for engine exhaust. Instead, they would house a double-decker observation deck with large windows allowing for a pretty unique view. Obviously, since these 2 forward funnels serve no technical purpose, the space below decks would be freed up for other modern ship infrastructure like water treatment facilities and crew accommodations. Speaking of the mechanical aspects of the ship, despite it adopting a hull from the early 1900s, it would feature all the modern equipment like bow thrusters, diesel engines, and even azipod thrusters. The ship would sail under Palmer's newly created company, Blue Star Line, and with historians, naval architects, and even the great-great-nephew of Bruce Ismay, the original owner of the White Star Line, who was now on their advisory board. Really, this project seemed to have had some legs. But when most people hear about something like this, especially right after the Costa Concordia accident, one obvious concern comes to mind, and that's how safe is this actually going to be? Palmer and his team clearly had prepared for that mindset, as they consistently reiterated their talking points in their press events. To their credit, the ship was being designed from the ground up in our modern era of shipbuilding and regulation, so aspects of navigation are much more sophisticated, and failures in the riveted hull of the original ship would not apply to this, as the superstructure of Titanic II would be welded together. The total estimated price for all of this was somewhere around $400 to $600 million. Titanic II was set to sail in 2016 following the original and intended voyage between Southampton and New York City. Other itineraries would include taking it around the world, even visiting Asia and Australia too. Progress towards that 2016 date seemed to have actually been happening too, as a contract with a Chinese shipyard was signed and the company claiming they had begun the final stages of design work. In September 2013, model work to investigate the efficiency of their hull design was also conducted. This indicated they were getting very close to laying down steel. But then came delays, as funding from investors didn't seem to have materialized as they hoped. In 2014, Blue Star Line signed a deal with a Chinese company which would essentially go out and try and find potential sponsors for the project, and thus Palmer announced construction would begin in September of the same year. A new sail date was now revised to 2018. This date, though, was also missed. In 2015, the company applied for government funding, which was soon denied. Trouble continued to follow the project as Palmer's primary source of his wealth, his mining company, had found that around $6 million was taken out of their corporate accounts and used for the development and marketing on the Titanic II project. Palmer and his Chinese partners also began payment disputes, which just slowed everything down. Suddenly, their social media pages went silent, and it seemed as though the project was dead. That was until 2018, when everything sprang back to life. A new video detailing the specifications of Titanic II was released, for some reason on Palmer's political YouTube channel, which hilariously has this description reading, "The latest update for the Titanic II project, which has been reinvigorated by Australian business."
You know what I don't get? Why not just make this like a VR project? That would be much easier. Use the funds from that to provide additional funding. Hell, let people be the captain of the Titanic too, making the same voyage and maybe with slightly enhanced danger, like, I don't know, maybe make pirates on the Atlantic or something. And then and see if they can do better. Winner gets it's like a discount or even a free ticket on the first voyage to Titanic 2. I'd play that.
Leader and national living treasure Clive Palmer. Still, this video didn't really give an update, rather just delivered the same information everyone already knew. But still, new agreements with maritime management companies were being signed, and yet another completion date was now set for 2022. But I'm sure you can see where this is once again going. In 2020, Palmer was charged with fraud, among other things relating to his mining businesses. This also coincided with him running for public office, which also didn't exactly work out. In 2022, he apparently suffered from a rather serious medical emergency while on the political trail. While he is still alive, the state of the Titanic 2 appears it is not. The brand's official social media accounts have not made any updates regarding the project since 2019, which really hasn't been the most professional handling of the situation, especially for those who have invested into the project. But really, none of this was all that professional to begin with. While the global launch of Titanic 2 was impressive, and the initial renderings and schematics seem to have shown a genuine, realistic commitment to this project, the PR execution in the later half was anything but.
What do you say to people that say this is just a big hoax? You haven't signed a contract. This is just, publicity seeking.
What do you say? Bullshit, really.
With a mere 5,000 followers on their Twitter page, the unverified company account would tweet out such bangers as, "I posted 3 photos on Facebook in the album Shipyard," and also for some reason tweeted this photo from Clive Palmer's personal Twitter. Okay? The Facebook side wasn't much better, as in February 2020 they posted this, saying there'll be an update later this year. That didn't happen. Instead, there were 2 posts basically advertising Palmer's political position. The official website was also suspended, and this is what their Blue Star Line website looks like. So it really seems like Palmer's dream of a Titanic 2 is cancelled. Unless there's a sudden influx of lots of investor money, or he's willing to take a $500 million risk and gamble it all on a ship and who knows how much more in company infrastructure, the project is most likely underwater. But that's not the only replica Titanic proposed. In fact, there's one under construction right now. Sort of. While Palmer was touting his new project to the world in 2013, a resort in Asia called Romandacy announced their very own Titanic project. It's located in the Sichuan province of China, deep into the country, and is planned to be a large resort and theme park, with its main attraction being a one-to-one full-sized replica of the Titanic. This also didn't start out with smooth sailing, as the owners had promised whatever they considered to be an iceberg simulator. Rightfully so, people found this to be in poor taste and it was scrapped. But otherwise, work began in early 2015, and if marketing is to be believed, this will be the definitive Titanic replica. At least from the outside, and according to them, it will be built to the highest level of accuracy. Unlike Palmer's Titanic, however, this one will be fixed in place. Not an actual operating ship, but a standing replica in the landlocked province of China. But with financial trouble becoming a theme in this video, they too were affected. As work very slowly drew on, in some cases the site would sit dormant for months, even years at a time. The preview center began to decay as little progress was being made. Apparently, the developers were having quite a difficult time finding the money to keep the project going. By 2021, only 8 decks had been fabricated and constructed. Relatives of Titanic and even nearby citizens alike are not all that happy about the project, and there have been rumors of workers not even being paid. So all in all, the project is just tied up in so much controversy. That 2021 report was the last the public has heard about the project, and as far as we know, the hull of the Chinese Titanic is sitting abandoned in the middle of Asia. So I guess the moral of this story is maybe don't build something purely to romanticize a ship where 1,496 people died a horrific death. With that being said, there is something symbolically compelling about seeing a refined modern version of the great ocean liner finally sailing into New York. It's a captivating concept, and as someone who has a great personal interest in the iconic ship, it's something I would genuinely like to see. But on the flip side, it's just not being done in the way it should. Without the proper money, it could quickly turn out to be a flop and a huge embarrassment. It already sort of is. Titanic 2 will most likely not happen, at least by the hands of Palmer, and it will likely take an equally eccentric billionaire to make it a reality. But even then, it still requires investment, and our current markets is not really set up for a product like this. Not to mention, if you were an investor, would you put your money down for a project who has a website that looks like this? Over in China, well, they're certainly the closest to making something like this happen, but their Titanic is only a replica on the outside. They have made no effort to restore the interiors as they were, and will most likely be a rather crude interpretation of the era with modern hotel rooms, since its main function is to be a hotel. Developers in China don't exactly have the best track record with building authentic recreations, so without concept art, who knows what it'll look like. But even so, if they're not building a complete replica for people to see what the ship was like keel to funnels, then what's even the point? Honestly, the only perfect Titanic 2 would have been the RMS Olympic. Unfortunately, at the time, the foresight wasn't there and a business decision was made to scrap it. If she was saved like the Queen Mary, we'd have a great museum of the Olympic-class liners from the past. Really though, there is no perfect Titanic 2, and all of these insane cancelled plans of the past have shown that. But maybe that's for the best. Maybe there should only be one Titanic, one that lives in history not as an aspirational retooling of our past to sell tickets, but one that just stands as a story, a lesson of hubris and human failure. Despite us likely never sailing on Titanic 2, you still can dine with class with this video sponsor, HelloFresh. Making your own and consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Jake, and thank you very much for watching.
And my name is Andreas, and thanks for watching if you caught this on the VOD, or if you caught this live and I didn't notice. Well, it's probably just got a few lurkers. Anyways, I'm taking the next week off to try and edit down my Clear Sky playthrough in preparation for Call of Pripyat. I'm not sure if I'll do Shadow of Chernobyl or not. But I'll try and at least get at a few episodes of Clear Sky done by the end of this week. Next time you see next week, as in, let me check the date. The 24th, I will be back with a new Pokemon fan game, Pokemon Imperium. I'll still be doing Friday's Variety Day stream as well as another and I'm not sure if I'll do Sunday's reaction stream, but hey, that can wait. Until then, I am Andreas Rebel, and I will see you next assignment.